Hello, Alex. Thank you for joining our podcast. Today, our guest is co-founder and chief operating officer of Coursebox. Alex, let's start with a simple question. Could you please tell me several words about your companies? How did you come up with the idea? Let's start with this.
Yeah, sure. So Coursebox is an AI course creator. We speed up the process of building online courses. And the way that we came up with the idea, my co-founder, Travis, he used to be an instructional designer. He was going through the very time-consuming and expensive process to build online courses. And he thought to himself, there must be a better way of doing this. And so him and I joined together. We met through the Y Combinator's co-founder matching system. So we both had a profile on their website where you can match with other co-founders. And he was looking for a marketing guy. I was looking for someone more on like the tech and the product side. And then we started working together on this idea, the AI course creator, to solve that problem that he had experienced himself. And things went from there. So that was about 3 years or so ago when Travis and I met.
And what was the moment, the aha moment when you knew the idea had real potential?
I think the aha moment was when we started ranking in #1 position in the world for the search term AI course creator. And this was just after ChatGPT had gone viral. And we saw the potential in the product and we quickly integrated with it into Coursebox, and we changed our website to match the keyword AI course creator because we saw on SEO analytics platforms like SEMrush that it was a really high volume, low competitive keyword. And then we quickly ranked first in the world for it. And we just started getting hundreds, thousands of signups. So that's when we were like, oh my God, this has a lot of potential. Because before that, it was kind of just crickets, it was silence, nothing was happening. And we were scratching our heads going, should we even be working on this? Should we be giving up? And so that pivot that we made and the incredible response from that was shocking in a very good way.
Okay, thank you. How would you describe Coursebox to someone who had never heard before?
Coursebox is an easy-to-use course creation platform that generates a course for you within minutes. So you can enter a description, maybe you've got documents or other things that you can upload, other parameters that you can put in, and then you click a button that says generate, and then it generates a course for you, including text, images, videos, quizzes, and so forth. So that sits within our platform, but you can share it with learners. You can export it to another LMS if you want to, or you can use our platform.
Mm-hmm. So I think we could say that it is a key moment that differentiates you from traditional LMS.
Yeah, I think the key differentiator is that we save a huge amount of time and cost for people that are building online courses. Traditionally, it would take months of work to build courses. And even now with tools like ChatGPT, it's all fragmented. So they're using ChatGPT, then they're using something else to make videos, something else to make quizzes, and then they're having to copy and paste and export everything and put it into their LMS. Whereas we are like that all-in-one AI generation solution for people that are creating courses.
Okay, thank you. What was the hardest technical challenge in building an AI can generate full courses end-to-end?
Oh, there's so many. Hardest technical challenge. I think that one of the hardest technical challenges we've had so far is generating incredible videos and pulling in probably the best of like different AI solutions and keeping up with that. Because an online course, when you think about it, it can have so many different formats of content. So it can have images, quizzes, videos, assessments. You want to also automate the grading when you submit an assignment. So there's just a huge amount of integration of AI platforms, as well as making sure your prompting to those AI platforms is optimized and adapting as you change the models and change the type of content coming in.
Mm. Thank you. How do you ensure the accuracy and quality of AI-generated educational content?
Yeah, we have a lot of prompting to ensure the accuracy of the content. And then we're also working on things like referencing. So what that will look like is we're using models that are more like deep research, where it will go and spend a lot of time thinking about the facts and checking things. And then it will also not only check for, facts and make sure that they're up to date, but also pull in credible references. So this is maybe less important for topics like how to do marketing, but it's a lot more important for things like how to do surgery on someone's brain. That's a topic you don't want to get wrong. So you need to ensure that the facts are, backed by evidence. They're coming from very credible places, and there's no hallucination whatsoever. So that's something we're working a lot on at the moment to ensure that, there's scientific evidence behind these things, and they're actually up to date and credible.
Mm. And another one question: how do you balance automation with giving enough users creative control?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, we have a full course editor that all the content goes into, so they can completely change it all. They can also ask AI to generate the content throughout the course. So we generate like a full draft for them, and then they can go and manually edit, or they can ask AI to do their own edits. So there's a balance between the two. We very often see, particularly the higher end course creators, they've often already got a lot of their own content. So they might generate the draft or the skeleton of the course with AI, with our product, and then they want to import their own videos, for example. And so we make it super easy for them to do that, and we don't design the product in a way where it's forcing AI down their throat. Within the editor, click the video button and upload. It's very, very easy and simple. So I think the answer to your question is we make it very flexible to the course creators, and we presume that they do want to make their own manual edits and pull their own content in as well.
And in this case, are there certain types of content that AI still struggles to generate well?
I think, we've seen a lot of improvements in image generation recently. I think there's still more improvements to come. Like, for the most part, we're seeing almost 100% accuracy with like the text within images. So when you generate like a diagram on a topic, it'll usually have text and arrows and that sort of thing. Almost most of the time, it's accurate and doesn't have mistakes. We still see some occasional mistakes in like spelling and that sort of thing, particularly in more alternative like language or less widely spoken languages other than English. There can be like more mistakes, we find. What else? I suppose, things like videos are just getting better and better, but still, again, being able to, for example, teach how to use a software product. I think we're still pretty far away from doing that still. So for me to go and generate a course showing exactly where to click in Coursebox and all the buttons and the whole platform is fully accurate and detailed, I haven't actually seen anyone do that incredibly well yet. So people are still asking for this product, and they're still, most people are like still using stuff like Loom and that sort of thing to create software tutorials. And I think there's a massive opportunity for AI to replace that somehow, but I haven't really seen us get close to it yet.
Got it. Thank you. Who are your main users today? Educators, corporate training teams, coaches, or someone else?
Yeah, the most users that we get in a certain segment, they tend to be training companies. So they're like training providers. They could be sometimes a regulated training provider. So they're usually more than one person, but sometimes they are just one person, which you would usually define as like a coach. But usually it's a small business. So it's usually, let's say, like 3 to 15 people. And what they do as a company is they deliver professional training on a certain skill or a group of skills. So, for example, we've got a client who trains farmers on soil science. We've got a client who trains people how to serve alcohol in a responsible and safe way, where it's like the accreditation of how you do that in a certain country. We need that certificate. So that's like an accredited training. We see organizations teaching things like welding, for example. So often it's like a hands-on skill, or it could be something like cybersecurity. But usually we see the training companies coming on board faster than the corporations. We're getting a lot of interest from corporations. We just find they're a lot slower to move. And we also see a lot of course creator, entrepreneur types of people. Probably the main issues we find with those sorts of people is that they haven't really started a business yet. They're only just getting started. And so this is their first course that they're creating. And while maybe we solve that problem for them, they need a lot of help to market their course. They're actually starting a brand from scratch for a lot of them. And so that's an entirely other problem that maybe we'll start to help people a bit more with. But it's a difficult problem to solve, actually building like the online presence and digital marketing for a completely new brand. And I think some of these entrepreneur course creators maybe underestimate the work that's involved in doing so. So these established training providers tend to be a much more legitimate and long-term customer for us.
Okay, thank you, Alex. And what do you think regarding corporations? What is the key moment why they are less interested? Maybe because they have pretty defined requirements how their course should look like, or something like this. What is your opinion at this point?
I think there's a few things. One is that they've already got a learning management system that the big corporations potentially have spent millions on implementing this learning management system. And not only that, they've probably already implemented a lot of different courses as well. So there's quite a lot of existing infrastructure and systems and processes that they have in place, as well as potentially instructional design staff as well. So we do have some clients that fit into this category. For example, we've got a client that has more than 100,000 staff. And so they're using our product to build courses quickly and implement those through their learning management system. But I think a lot of them, maybe they've already got so many systems and courses in place that maybe they see less of a need for it. I think often when you talk to entrepreneurs about what was that like first market that you went after, it's often the group of people that need your product the most, like they're starving for it. It's like they can't live without it. And I think that's what we see with training companies, right? They have a business model which completely relies on building training and delivering that. And they don't have as much money to play around with compared to like corporations as well. So they're starving for a product like ours. Ours is quite price competitive as well. Plus, we can be a learning management system and a course creation product all in one. So we tick a lot of boxes for those training companies.
And how has your user base grown globally? And what markets are the most excited about?
Yeah, we've had a really global audience, actually, because firstly, AI can speak any language, right? So that's been awesome for us because we've seen a lot of people coming into our product and then building courses in any language. And that's actually one of the first steps that we put in our product. It's one of the first things you see when you go and generate a course is select your language. So you can go and, instead of just signing up in English and presuming that everyone speaks English, which most of the world, their native first language is not English, we intentionally designed it that way where people can select their language. But I mean, now it actually automatically selects it for you based on your browser language. And before that, we have translated the website into multiple languages. So we've got the Coursebox website in Spanish and French and all these other languages. So when you're searching for things like AI course creator or how to create a course with AI in your language, we're coming up with the page in that specific language. They're coming through to that website in that language. They're registering in their language, and then they can go and generate a course in that language. So it all completely follows through, like it's kind of localized and built for them. Additionally, we're also even using, so we're using a payment system called Chargebee, and we're setting up currencies for those different locales or countries. So if you're in Brazil and you're going through and generating a course in Portuguese, you go to upgrade to buy a pay plan, you can pay for that in the Brazilian currency and not have to use US dollars. So it's in a lot of ways we're trying to localize it and make it feel like not some like US software company, but like a local Brazilian company for the Brazilians, for example. And we're going through a new website project at the moment, and so part of that is scaling up those languages as well, because we're limited with the current system that we're on. So we're moving to more of a custom website system from Webflow, where we won't have a limitation on the number of languages that we can translate to. So yeah, that should open up like a lot of opportunities for getting more global audience through. And the other thing is the content that's generated as well. So we've got text and images, we've got videos, and we have things like an AI that can read out the text in a course. We've even got a voice mode where you can actually do the quizzes by speaking to Coursebox instead of like sort of tapping on the select answer. So it caters to people who are like on the move. Maybe they're doing their course like on the bus or while they're driving or something. And that makes that possible. Obviously, all of that is done in their chosen language as well. So there's a lot of possibilities for globalizing products now. And yeah, AI has really made a massive difference for that. I was actually listening the other day to like a big growth marketing talk, and it was talking about how Facebook, one of their biggest regrets in growth was they translated their platform way too late, because they did it like later on than they should have, and then they just saw like crazy growth. So it was one of their biggest regrets, actually leaving the translation too late. So I think it's something we've been probably a lot more earlier on than most startups, but we found it super beneficial because we're getting customers from all over the world.
Mm-hmm. And do you see any challenges? And if yes, what are the biggest in scaling an AI educational platform?
Oh, there's lots of challenges. Do you mean just challenges to do with scaling the platform specifically?
Yeah. Scaling, the scaling, it doesn't mean technical. It's about marketing. Yeah.
I see. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I think there's things like, I think about it in a very sort of like analytical way. So when you really break it down, there's sort of like a mathematical way of looking at it, where you can break it down to sort of formulas, and that's kind of how it works. So there's things like LTV to CAC, lifetime value to cost of acquiring a customer. So you generally want to see like a 3-to-1 sort of ratio there. Essentially, what that is saying is that when you put money into marketing or advertising, how much do you get back? And if you can't make it profitable, then you're just losing money. Like if you put it in and you don't get the money back, then you're stuffed, right? So you've got to get it to a point where you are getting that money back, even if it's taking like a few months or something. Then sometimes that's okay. You just have to move a bit slower to put the money back in again. So that's a huge barrier to scaling. And then I think, the biggest impact on that lifetime value component is retention. So if you are not retaining your customers for long enough, then it's very hard to get that lifetime value to be high enough. And so that's kind of the position that or challenge that we're going through. where we are trying to ensure that the retention of our new signups is as high and long as possible. So people might come in to generate a course and then they kind of look at it and maybe they leave. So we've recently got up the sign up to course generation rate from about 40% up to 70%. And so we've gotten people to not drop off as quickly as they were before. So that's been awesome. And that's given us like an improvement in things like the number of upgrades. And that makes it easier to get a profit from marketing, right? But we've still got a lot of work to do in order to ensure that people are sharing their courses. So they're getting to that next stage. They're not just generating the course, they're editing and then they're sharing it. So I think that's probably the main sort of challenge that we're working through right now. And a huge part of that is like wowing people with the experience when they generate a course. It's also about ensuring that our product is like it's going through like a product-led growth sort of flywheel where when people get up to sharing their course, they're essentially marketing Coursebox and our product as part of that. So if we can get them up to that stage, then the idea is we should see a lot more signups as well. So we're creating what's called like a viral growth loop where signups are generating more signups. And so once you get to that sort of stage of virality, you can what I'm sort of talking about is essentially product market fit, right? Where you're getting people are very satisfied with your product and they're also sharing like the thing that they've made with the product so much that it's driving more people to come to you. And so that's probably the biggest thing that we're working towards right now. We're sort of, I would say like we're halfway there. We're getting closer, but we're not quite there yet. And I think, again, I heard this talk the other day talking about product market fit, and they were saying that from a growth leader, and he was saying one of the biggest mistakes he sees in startups is founders think they have product market fit and they don't. And so I think often people have like a very low bar for what they think product market fit is, when they think it's here, but it's really like way up here. And because when you hit that point, it's almost like you can just put more money into marketing and you just have so much interest, you kind of don't know what to do with it. So it's very easy to become a unicorn pretty much if you do have product market fit.
Thank you very much. And speaking about the roadmap, what are the next new features or what are you planning?
Yeah, definitely that AI output part that I was talking about. We're continuing to work on the video generation. So we've integrated with HeyGen, which is giving us some awesome avatars that can go into the training videos. We are trying to make sort of like a slides type editor that goes into that as well, where they can edit the background, add their own videos, and even generate videos within the training video as well. So integrating with things like Veo and Sora as well for the video side. As I said, the referencing is a big one. Improving the conversion of documents to courses. So that's something that we do at the moment, but we're getting a lot of feedback from course creators that they want a bit more control over how much it's rewritten. So almost like a temperature dial for taking a document to a course. There's quite a few things in there, and there's a very, very long list that I won't bore you with, but I think it's essentially all about us moving towards our vision with the product, that we want to be the easiest way to build the perfect course. And so anything that helps us get to that vision where it feels just so easy to build that ideal course that you want, that's the ideal scenario. And there's this longer term vision aligned with that where maybe we don't necessarily go after course creators as our customers. Maybe longer term, the learner comes directly to us to generate the course specifically for themselves. Because if it is really just generating that perfect course so easily, why do you necessarily need the training provider in some instances? So there's potentially like a longer term pivot could come up in the next couple of years as well.
Yeah, that was my last one question. How do you see AI will transform future of education and training, and how do you see Coursebox in 5-10 years?
Yeah, I think AI is already revolutionizing education in so many ways. I mean, it's completely changing the way that educators are making content. So generative AI, considering you have to make so much content in order to teach, when you think about it, generative AI is making a huge impact on that already. I think as it gets better and better as it is, it will become more and more widely used. I think as I was talking about with the learner generating a course for themselves, it's becoming more and more personalized as well. So you're already seeing that in things like ChatGPT and Gemini. The way people are using these chatbots is in a lot of cases to teach themselves something and for coaching purposes. So for example, in my work as a founder, I'm pretty much daily talking to both Gemini and ChatGPT just to get advice on how to grow my business and to market the business. And sometimes I'm uploading screenshots of product analytics dashboards and saying, "Oh, what do you think of this? Can you help me analyze this? This is what we're doing in the product for the user experience. Is there something I'm missing? This is my strategy. Can you challenge me?" So there's a lot of opportunities already where people are doing this and they're using the AI as like a personalized coach. And I think that's going to become more and more the case over time. In terms of where Coursebox goes in 5 to 10 years, I think that, we're very much just working towards that big goal of being the easiest way in the world to build the perfect course. And I think there will be so many opportunities that will branch off from that if we can hit that very long-term vision.
Great. Alex, thank you very much for joining for our podcast, for sharing your ideas.